singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton and I'm a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back for a very exciting comeback reaction to another member of the Woollim family, and we will be reacting to Rocket Punch.
Yes, so Rocket Punch is back with a new release today after a very long time, actually. And their new song is called Chiquita, which is Spanish for
Babe.
But obviously in advance we watched the teaser, so we kind of know what to expect. And once again, thank you to Woollim Entertainment for contacting us about this release. But that being said, let us go! Oh yeah,
It's yellow!
Because the album...
It's Yellow Punch.
It looks like a snitch. Sorry.
It took off from the beginning.
Oh yeah, you can tell by like the background. Lines! Oh, they're playing with silence. They're using the word chiquita is very interesting. Yeah. Dang it, I was gonna say that
Sorry.
later. I'll still say it, but...
The concept is vaguely like Alice.
Oh,
Like
falling.
And then like the small rooms.
Young lady. But actually, like...
Oh.
Oh yeah, because she got... And then the mirror.
The dancing is so much more like... I don't know
Harder?
if mature is the right word I want to use, but mature is what I'll use for now.
Is it more aggressive? Not like aggressive, but like, I don't know.
Yes. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're coming out of the... Is that how you say it? Are very like the disco-y. Oh, I like this line. That's new. Yeah, feels very nice.
Space! Everything is space!
Oh, I like the ending pose.
I do too.
Aw.
Okay, so I have a lot of things to say, so we're just gonna jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about sort of encompasses a lot of my dance comments, and it is that like more mature, aggressive feeling. I think that those really are the best words, even though during it I was like, is that the word I want to use? Like you were saying, it is more aggressive, but not in like a hard, like, like dark concept way. Yep, that's what we're going with.
무슨 강호동 애교 같은데?
But it's just that it goes so hard right from the beginning. beginning, and there's really very few moments of like release or of break, which is why you get that more aggressive feeling. And also the reason I think I was saying more mature is that one, it goes harder, and two, the choreography is so much more intricate. Like the things that they're doing are at a more advanced level, especially like compared to previous releases. So that's why it feels more mature, along with, you know, the concept and the darker lighting and the way they're dressed and everything. Something else that makes it feel aggressive though is that it's not just that it's continually moving, it's that so much of it are very small, tight movements that are sort of kept close to the body so that they can move very quickly. But I think it's really interesting because within those smaller movements, they're playing with so many dynamics and accents within those movements. Like the Chiquita is a really good example because it's at 3 different speeds, the same movement they're doing, because they're going back and forth, and it gets progressively faster for each beat of that. And then there's a little bit of like a linger on the ta. That's just like really interesting. Whereas I feel like in previous releases, things have been done more at like the same level the whole time, with maybe like one big accent or something. This, it's like continually up and down, and there's a hit and there's a pause and there's a drag out, just sort of like over and over and over again. And it also offers really interesting contrast to those few moments that are a little bit more smooth compared to more percussive, aggressive movements. Like the oohs go kind of directly in contrast to the Chiquita, and they're very smooth and sort of all at that like same energy level. It just makes the dance very like visually pleasing because you're kept very interested through all of these different accents and dynamics. Also, something else that they're playing with a lot that adds to that like higher technique, more mature dance feeling is they have so many different levels. And it's not just like, oh, we're gonna go down for this section and then we're gonna come back up for the rest of it. They're constantly going up and down, and in groups as well. So like some of the members will go down and then they'll switch, or they'll go down for one movement and come straight back up. And one, that's very tiring. Like it already makes the dance a lot harder whenever you're trying to go to the floor and then come back up. But also the way they're doing it, like there's the moment where they go down on one leg and they extend the other one out. Like that's just, my quad hurt watching that. I was like, oh, it's so hard. But it also keeps the energy like very high and up and like flowing. And then one other thing that makes this feel a lot more like mature in their dancing and in the choreography is there's a lot more interesting facings and like body positionings, because they're not always like straight within their box. They'll have like their upper body twisted this way while their legs do something else. Or they're just a lot more free in their movements rather than sort of staying completely in alignment, which makes it again feel more mature. And I would like to say they're doing all of this while also keeping with that like typical Wolim, like 100% synchronization. The more accents, the more like changes in dynamics, all of that, it makes keeping that synchronization harder. They're still keeping it, so it like is even more impressive in that way. Also, I just want to take a second to talk about their lines though, because I love lines in a dance, and I said that a lot of their movements are small and closer to the body, which lets them do it faster. But those moments of respite are the elongated lines, like the one when they go down to the floor, or after the Chiquita, they'll be very in, and then they'll sort of extend their arm and they'll extend their leg and their foot is pointed. Those are those moments of sort of like rest, because it lets their body release before it pulls back in. So it gives you visually a release as well. But also, I think it's an interesting contrast to that more aggressive feeling, because the elongated lines are more reminiscent of like ballet or like more traditionally feminine dancing. And so I think it's an interesting contrast between like the harder, more like aggressiveness with the sort of like and then we're back. I really liked it. I also really liked this comeback though, so much. I'm gonna stop. I talked for a long time. Anna's turn!
Yes, it is time for my comments now. I guess one general comment that I have is just like the overall style of the song, because like we were saying, it's like a little bit more mature, and you can definitely feel, like I mentioned in the reaction, dark glam disco influences. You get that obviously like visually in the music video shots, like the main dance scene, the styling for that with like the black outfits, more like purpley lighting. Also, one of the biggest disco things that you hear is, like I mentioned in the chorus, the sort of pad played descending line, the do 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 do. Classic. Think of the Rick Roll, like Rick Astley song. It starts with a do 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 that you kind of hear similar in this chorus. Another percussion line that we're going to talk about is the Chiquita that Peyton started explaining in the reaction. But just to explain further why it's like that, not just the rhythms that it's spoken on, because it's like fast, fast, slow, Chiquita, but also if you're comparing the different sounds, I'm going really in depth, the different sounds of the syllables. So chi, the first syllable, is similar to a ts, which is one of the sounds for beatboxing. It can be either hi-hat or snare, depending. And then the ki is like the kick for beatboxing, so and then the ta is also kind of like the snare or hi-hat. So chikita is kind of like the boots and cats that you hear like a like that. Hence, it's being very percussive. Another thing though is that really is where you get a lot of the more like Latin influence on the song as well, because it is like this mix between the dark glam and the slight Latin influences. The song title is in Spanish, but the rhythms are very reminiscent, like the fast, fast, slow. It's more rhythmic that you would hear in more Latin style songs. Another thing about this though, as expected, Woollim electronic style sounds. There is a specific Rocket Punch style in my mind, even though they do have a more mature concept for this release. They still use like bubblier sounding synths. So you get that especially in the ornaments for this song. One example of that is towards the end of the pre-chorus, there's the double time synth for the chorus build-up, and that's like the higher pitched one that comes in towards the end. That's bubblier sounding. In the intro of the song, you hear another bubblier sounding one that's also doubled with a sort of chimey sounding synth, which is also calling back to their sweeter style earlier from debut. Not just those synths, but also like the distortions that you hear in the lower, like deeper pitched layers of the song combined together, because there is a lot of layering in this song. And also, like you're mentioning, it doesn't stop. As soon as it starts, it doesn't stop, which is why I think the moments of silence were just so effective. Each one happened for the chorus drop, and it's not completely silent because it's just like that final perk ringing out, like reverberating, and then they start singing for the chorus, but it is still like a moment of silence in comparison to the rest of the song, which makes it more impactful, especially the first time that it happens. The last thing that I wanted to say though was I found the final chorus really interesting, and I liked the change. When they start singing the oohs, it wasn't like that earlier in the previous choruses for the ooh section of the chorus, whereas in the final one, that added higher pitched synth line that I mentioned, I was like, oh, that's new. It is new, and also that is kind of like an exchange. In counterpoint, it's just a way of writing classical music for multiple parts. Basically, their oohs, the Rocket Punch girls, become more of the harmony role, and then the synth line that comes in becomes the focus, more like the melody, which I just found really interesting, because I feel like even when you do see that in K-pop, it's not as like blatantly in your face obvious as this one, and I really liked it. So those were all of my comments. I really enjoyed this release as well.
I can TLDR for us today. So first and foremost, Rocket Punch, congratulations on a fantastic comeback. Chiquita is a slightly more mature, maybe a little bit different sound, but also still keeping in that Rocket Punch style with the bubbly synths and the 100% synchronization that Woollim artists and Rocket Punch are known for. And if you cannot tell from both our reaction and our comments, we really enjoyed this and are really happy to see them back. And of course, once again, thank you Woollim Entertainment for contacting us about this release. Always a pleasure to react to the Woollim fam.
That being said, if you would like to talk with us more about Rocket Punch and this release, then feel free to reach out to us on our socials, which are linked in the cards. And as always, if you enjoyed this reaction video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!